What's going on, everybody? It's me, Flygon, your coach of the Florida Flygons. And today, I just wanted to do a small recap of my first 3 weeks and just a little bit more of a deeper dive on the teams that I brought, why I brought the sets that I brought. Just going, a little bit more in depth because the two videos I made before for the TLs, what the hell? The TCL were primarily like content based, so I didn't have that much of an emphasis on like the team building aspect or the prep aspect or whatever. But I want to have some videos like these sprinkled in between, primarily for the TCL folk. Shout out TCL. Just explaining my sets, my thought process behind like why I bring the things that I bring and like my plays and shit. We do have the dock open right here, so basically I'm just gonna be going through weeks 1 through 3, looking at the sets, why I brought them, what they were for, maybe looking at the replays, I don't know. I'm just kind of going with it. This is probably gonna be a bit longer than the usual vids, but that's alright. I just want this to be more informative than anything, and if you like the informative stuff just as much as the content stuff, make sure to leave a like and press all the buttons that make me happy. Also, I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet today. I'm very tired. It is 12, which doesn't sound early, but I'm not a morning person. But anyways, let's just get straight into it. Let's go week 1. Week 1, I faced Fox, I'm pretty sure. And the problem with this is that his team is completely different to what his team was before. And I can't remember what his team was before. So it's a little bit problematic, but I think the general thought process behind this was just I built a lot of my team around not losing to Primarina, and once I was able to get rid of Primarina, I knew Floatzel and Dracovish could just go in and almost auto win basically. And the fact that he didn't bring Primarina to our match basically meant that I did just auto win. I still don't understand why he didn't bring Primarina. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I was scared of Specs Primarina, which is why I brought this like somewhat bulky Tentacruel. I forgot what this stat spread was for, and it's hard because this team is very much different from what it was before. Um, I just can't remember what his team was before. I think I can maybe pull up. Uh, Here, I'm gonna pause it real quick. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. I just realized that there's like a trades and transactions section on this sheet. So yeah, that makes things easier. But what was this? What was this defensive EV spread for? Maybe it was Cyclizar? Hmm. Oh, it was for Psyshock. It was the Psyshock. I remember. This, I put all this defense in here to take a Psyshock, and I went with this speed tier to outspeed stuff like Gliscor, I'm pretty sure, or like a max speed Primarina, in case he brought that. Because offensive Primarina was just as scary as defensive Primarina, if not more. And again, this entire battle, to me, revolved around like dealing with Primarina, so the fact that he didn't bring it was just like super free for me, which is why the battle went the way that it did. But I brought AB Coco just in case of what let's check here. I brought it was for Raikou. It was definitely for Raikou because Raikou was one of those other like very scary Pokemon, which is why I have two AV users here. I wanted to deal with Raikou, and so I brought like an AV Coco just in case. It helped check Raikou. Getting burned on it did suck, but I liked Physical here overall just in case it did bring the Primarina, and I liked Brave Bird for like Annihilate, and in general this was always going to do more damage to like something like a Chi-Yu. Um, Basic Pelipper set, basic Floatzel set, basic Dracovish set, and then this Treads, I liked this EV spread a lot because 330 speed, that allowed me to outspeed I think it was just to outspeed like Kang, because I realized late that Kang could honestly be a threat offensively. Like I didn't have a lot of switch-ins to a Kangaskhan, but this attack investment was enough to always secure a kill against Raikou with an Earthquake, and always 2 KO Gliscor with Ice Spinner. Wild Charge always did a decent amount. Also, this speed tier allowed me to get a speed boost under electric terrain, which was very helpful for something like Scarf Ape, or just really any of his like faster mons. So yeah. But I did bring AB on this guy specifically for Raikou as well. Again, just another pivot into Raikou. And hey, maybe I'd like surprise live a Primarina hit and kill in return with like a wild charge. It didn't kill from full obviously, but if I chipped it down earlier with like Dracovish or something. But yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say because, you know, this battle really did revolve around prepping for like his threats, which in my mind were Primarina and Raikou and Annihilate a little bit. And then he just didn't bring Primarina, which was the only thing that stopped me from setting up rain and winning. So yeah. I was also kind of scared of Cyclizar just Shed Tail passing, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me, honestly. Because like seeing that like Dracovish just killed it straight up under rain, I was just like, okay, I'm fine. I was scared of Scarf Shed Tail though, but I forget if Cyclizar is even allowed to run Shed Tail in this league. But yeah, that was my week 1. That's just like my general thought process behind that. Oh, look at my other things. I'm not leaking myself here, right? I'm not. Okay, I'm fine. Where? Whomstiff. There it is, sorry. But let's move on to week 2. This was against Fish, who I don't think his team changed too much. I hope not. I don't think it did. That's good. That makes my life easier. But well, did he? I swear this seems like a little bit different. Oh wait, no, this is Solb. Whoops, that's my bad. Okay, I don't know. This seems like pretty much the same from what I remember. But yeah, I don't know. What was my thought process behind this? So first, Rain just looked awesome here too. He really didn't have any way of dealing with Rain other than like a few like options. Like I was expecting a Scarf Electro to Sui to try and outspeed Floatzel, which is why I ran max speed on Floatzel this week, because this was enough to outspeed the Scarf Hisuian Electrode if he decided to bring it, and I'd be able to kill with Ice Spinner. But yeah, these three, very obvious. Defensive just looked best here on Pelipper because of the fact that it switched into Metagross, at least initially, and then I could scout for Thunder Punch. Dealt with Garchomp well, which I liked because Garchomp's always a threat. Dealt with Crook well. Hitmonlee, same. But fucking one thing that really scared me, and I'm really excited again to this Tread set because I never got to talk about it in the original vid, but one thing that did scare me was Toxtricity. I feel like Toxtricity could be a really big threat with like Shift Gear and stuff. And I'm immediately just going to get into this Iron Tread set. So I'm going to try and remember what everything was for, but everything here has some kind of purpose to it. So Booster Energy with this speed allowed me to outspeed, I think it was, which one of these guys? It allowed me to outspeed Hisuian Electrode after a speed boost, which was pretty cool. Obviously because of the electric terrain. This Spadef investment, was specifically for Toxtricity, being able to eat hits from it. It also allowed me to eat like a Focus Blast from Tornadus T, which was pretty nice. Allowed me to Fire Blast from a Garchomp, which is pretty nice. This defense investment was to live Garchomp Earthquake, Crook Earthquake, made sure that I didn't like just automatically drop to something. And with like booster and everything, the sole purpose of this guy was to get up rocks and just chip down anything, or just pivot with Volt Switch to get into Pelipper and start rain abusing. Because all I needed this game was rocks for rain to go in, considering how much damage Dracovish and Floatzel did to his entire team. Like breaking Skarmory's Sash early meant that I was in such a good position, and that's why I led this thing and went for rocks originally in game 2. And he led Skarmory, which meant I could get a Volt Switch off on it, which is great. no matter what, it was always a win-win scenario for me. And this moveset for me in general was great because Ice Spinner plus Earthquake hit so much of his team for super effective damage that I never had to worry about it. This thing only had a few bad matchups, lead matchups, I mean, aka like lead Typhlosion, lead Scarp Typhlosion with Eruption, but I felt like he was never going to bring Typhlosion because I had a Rain team. I had a Dracovish that 4 times resisted Eruption, and if he ever brought Typhlosion, I could just, it gave me a free Dracovish opportunity, which is the last thing he wanted. So Dreads was just so free here. And there's like a few more specific things. Like I think this 24 attack investment was to guarantee Oko a Typhlosion um, with Earthquake, just in case he did decide to bring it. It might have also been for like offensive Chomp, but I don't think this much attack investment kills Chomp. It also might have been to like 2-hit KO Tornadus T, which I think it did, but it depended on how bulky the Torn T was. But if he went for like more of an offensive Torn T to abuse Rain and spam Hurricanes, then this Ice Spinner could always 2-hit KO it, which was pretty nice. So I this is like one of the most like complicated Iron Tread sets, but this was a super fun spread to make, and I'm really proud of it because it fit its role beautifully. It always lived a hit from anything, and because of the booster energy, I was always going to be able to get up rocks and then either pivot or get off big damage for my Pelipper to pivot into a Dracovish or a Floatzel, and for them to just go in. As for everybody else in this match, Coco, I just decided to go for like a more offensive variant here with Shuka Berry being able to like eat a hit from Guard Chomp. D-Gleam the Chomp, 2-hit KO with D-Gleam. Yeah, I don't know. Tapu Koko really didn't have a lot of a purpose here besides from just setting up electric terrain. Like it dealt with Skarmory well. It was a decent switch into Torn. It was technically a switch into Electrode. I mean, and I don't know, that's about it. This thing was just meant to pivot on stuff, which is why it has U-turn. Roost is technically just for longevity, but this thing really wasn't meant to do a lot other than to get up terrain for Iron Treads if, you know, early game rocks ended up not working out as well or something like that. And then Iron Jugulis just looked really good here. Like Hurricane, Earth Power, Dark Pulse, U-turn just is just incredible coverage against this team, and he really didn't have much of a switch into it. Especially like boosted Hurricane by Sharpbeak. Like he did not have a Hurricane switch in, and I knew the instant I could get up Rain, this thing was just going to be a massive threat. And the reason why I went for a speed boosting Iron Jugulis instead of like a special attack boosting one is because I wanted to guarantee outspeed something like Inteleon or Hisuian Electrode, you know, or any kind of like Scarf or like a Toxtricity, so that this thing could sweep late game, because this thing looked really potent as a late game sweeper. And yeah, that was about it. I was scared of like, I don't know if he had Ambipom beforehand. Did he have Ambipom beforehand? I can't remember. No, he didn't. Yeah, he had Serena. Yeah. So I never had to worry about fake out stuff then, which was really nice. Though I already have a few ideas of how I can handle that. But anyways, yeah, this was pretty much like, I was really happy with this team. I felt like this team like just did really, really, really well into his team, and then obviously the match went how it went. You know, fucking Dread setting up rocks, Volt switching into Pelipper U-turning, and then getting in, I think it was Floatzel early, and then just wave crashing, Okoing the Serena, which was funny, and then Dracovish cleaning late game. Well, Dracovish plus Iron Jugulis cleaning late game. So yeah, that was week 2. Again, not too much more to talk about because the battle itself, oh, sorry. The battle itself really didn't last that long, so yeah. And then this was week 3 against Shadowace, which was very recent. Whoopsie. This was very recent. Shadow still has the same team, obviously. But this team I had a lot tougher of a time preparing for. Like, I spent, I think, like an hour and a half, 2 hours prepping for this, in comparison to, like, Fish, or Fox, where I just felt like I had such a favorable matchup that I didn't have to think about what Pelipper set to run, or what Floatzel set to run, or what Dracovish set to run. Like those three were always just gonna be stand-ins, and then I had like my terrain abusers just in case. So I really didn't have to think too hard for those two matches. No offense to you guys, but Shadow was like, his team was a lot trickier, and I'm excited to get into some of this stuff because I remember some of this prep more clearly. So first of all, Sneasler looked awesome this match. I had a decision between bringing either Night Slash or Shadow Claw. In the end, I thought Night Slash was better here because if I ran Shadow Claw, I wouldn't be able to hit Hisui and Zoroark, which Hisui and Zoroark was probably the scariest Pokemon out of his entire team for my team because I just didn't have a good switch into it. And you'll see later why I didn't run like max Bidef, like Iron Shreds with Assault Vest, because I literally couldn't, but we'll get into that. But I really wanted coverage for it, and Night Slash was just appropriate. And then I ran enough speed to outspeed his fastest Mon, which was an Amorous. And so, yeah, this thing was just really potent late game. Or at any point in the game, to be honest. It could have swept at any time. He only had a limited amount of things I could deal with it. Like, if he brought Colbur Berry, Slowking Galar, which was something I was scared of, which I was hoping to get chip on early in the game. Altaria was also kind of scary if he ran, like, max defense. But I didn't really have anything else to deal with that, so I was hoping if he did bring it, I could chip it down. I felt like he was either going to bring a really offensive team or a really defensive team. And when he brought a really defensive team, I thought the game was going to be like really long and dragged out. It wasn't, but that's how I felt. Because I felt like if he brought a more offensive team, things would have been like a lot closer, especially if we played more aggressively. Because I do want to pull up that replay real quick and talk about one thing that he could have done. Because where is it? Where's this replay? Like, I do genuinely want to talk about this replay. Because there was a point in this battle that I realized, basically, after this battle happened, right? I went to take a shit. And as I was taking a shit, I realized something, like, actually terrifying. So, if he Chili Receptioned into Baxcalibur here, if this is a Baxcalibur, there's a 50-50 chance I just straight up lose. And the reason being for this is because when he showed me his Baxcalibur set, he had a lot of HP investment, which meant that I couldn't like OHKO him with anything, especially not under snow because I have a lot of physical threats. And so if he just because in my head during this, I was just like, if he went Bax, I'm gonna go straight into Treads. I EV Tread to be faster than +1 Baxcalibur, and I'm just gonna like hit it with like a super effective, really hard hitting Iron Head because I'm max attack. Just hard pivot into it because you're never earthquaking the Pelipper. But the fact is, so I switch out, he gets up a DD, right? He lives Iron Head. Not only does he live Iron Head, he doesn't even get 2-hit KO'd by it. So if he DD'd again, I try to Iron Head again, he lives, and then DDs for a third time, I literally just auto lose. That's not even like hyperbole. I actually just auto lose. And I realized that, and I was like, oh my god, what could I have done in that position? And like I was like thinking just like, okay, maybe instead like just going Sneasler, like just thinking about it more, just like, okay, maybe I just go like hard Sneasler instead and waste like my electric seed, but at least I don't get swept. But like if he's at +2 and then kills Sneasler, my only real out is Pelipper at that point. Because let's say, right, he goes Baxcalibur on Pelipper. I switch out into Treads. He DDs. And I Iron Head, he DDs again. And I'm just like, oh shit, this is bad. And then obviously from there I lose. So if I instead just like immediately went to Sneasler, hard Sneasler, because you're never earthquaking. So now that I'm faster, because obviously Unburden gets activated by the electric terrain, electric seed, CC threatens to do a lot of damage. So he kills me in return, and then from there, or he can DD again into like maybe killing me. I know this isn't making a lot of sense, but just stick with me here. If he kills me, I'm basically forced to like go into either leaves, or if he's at +2 speed, I basically have to like go Pelipper, sack Pelipper, and then go into Floatzel, which I did have coverage for backs, but it would have been really tricky, and I think it would have been really complicated and messy, and I think he would have been in a really good position because of it, because I think I would have had to, I think if I didn't want to lose, I had to sack Sneasler, which is fucking crazy to think about, but luckily he didn't do any of that. He kind of just let me go into leaves for free, and then just let me set up, and then, you know, tomato tomato. And then again, I don't know why he didn't just stay in here. Where, like obviously this died. Why did he not stay in with backs? I hate how my mouse double clicks. It's actually the most annoying thing ever. Why did he not just stay in with backs? Backs lived +2 CC. That's not even like a joke. Like that's like look, like I think he had like 152 in HP or something. And then under snow +2 252. Yeah, like look, he had a chance to live. I don't know why he didn't stay in here. Really fucking weird. I just don't get it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't just stay in there. I think he should have recognized that. Maybe he didn't want to risk the roll? I don't know. Maybe his calculator was off, but that shit was in his favor, bro. But yeah. And then I don't know why he didn't just like start Slowking pivoting, because at this point Psyblade didn't kill Slowking at 100%. So if he just pivoted like once or twice with Slowking, get all that HP back with Regenerator, he could have at least prevented 6-0. I think. Maybe. It depended on if he got Sludge Bomb poison. But yeah, no. Anyways, so that's just like a big tangent I wanted to go on, because I definitely feel like he could have played that around that a lot better, and I think I just ultimately got lucky with how that went. Anyways, reason why I ran Max Attack Treads is because I really needed it this match. Like I really needed Max Attack on Treads super bad, because I otherwise didn't kill Sandy Shocks, which really sucked. Not only that, but I just straight up wasn't doing enough damage to stuff like a Colossal or a Slowking Galar or a Baxcalibur or a King Gambit. Like I just wasn't doing a lot, and I needed to exert offensive momentum this match. And I still wanted to run AB because I at least wanted to live one hit from an Enamorus, which Enamorus was also a big threat, and I couldn't always kill with Iron Head if I ran less attack investment, so I had to run max attack just to like kill an Amorous with Iron Head. Which was scary, because an Amorous was another really big threat. The fact is, he didn't bring Hisuian Zoroark or an Amorous this match, because he went for a more defensive playstyle, and I feel like I got fortunate in that aspect, because I feel like if he went more offensive, he had a much better chance of winning, in my opinion at least. But yeah, I ran AV for the Hisuian Zoroark for the Enamorous, so I could always take one hit and KO in return. I could KO Hisuian Zoroark with Knock, I could KO Enamorous with Iron Head. And in general, tries just looked good here, but I had to play it carefully. But it definitely could have been like a late game cleaner with the set that I ran on it. Obviously, Iron Leaf looked really good here. I ran Twisted Spoon because of the fact that... Oh, by the way, this was not... max attack. Yeah, no, this was the roll. This was the roll I was calcing. Sorry, I don't know why I gave this thing max attack. But yeah, this was the roll I was calcing. I don't know why he didn't just stay in there. I guess he thought I was max attack, but yeah. Next time I'll remember to actually put like close combat. Hopefully I put this on loop. We will see. But yeah, this thing just went in here, especially with like Twisted Spoon, boosted side blades. I did not put it on repeat. I don't think, at least. What is that in my recommend? Okay, anyways. Anyways, Jesus, I fucking hate YouTube recommended. Anyways, sorry. I'm like spacing out. Yeah, this thing just did a lot of damage, and obviously just looked really good as a sweeper. And he didn't play around it well, which meant Iron Leaves auto one. But this set was very straightforward for me. Twisted Spoon, Psyblade just did so much to his team, especially under terrain. Coco was just a terrain setter this week, as per usual, though he had a bit more of a purpose because of the fact that I didn't like having to deal with Altaria, so it was a semi-Altaria switch in. It could also semi-switch into something like Vaporeon, maybe like a King Gambit Kowtow. It was able to outspeed stuff, which was very valuable, and I could always just get off momentum with like U-turn. It did a good amount of damage to stuff like Hisuian Zorak, could threaten kills on an Amorous, which was really nice. I really liked that. And then Roost was just for longevity. This guy was basically just to get up terrain. That is its job. And it's probably going to be its job for most of these matches, but Coco's really good. Don't sleep on Coco. And then this Floatzel set, I'm actually really happy with this Floatzel set, because Substitute is for Sucker Punch King Gambit, so if he ever went for a Sucker, I could just Substitute on it and then kill with a Expert Belt boosted low kick. Terra Blast, Grass, was for Vaporeon, and with the extra belt I could always 2-hit KO even the most defensive of Vaporeons. And then I ended up choosing Wave Crash over Liquidation because Wave Crash could just straight up kill an Amorous, which I thought was funny. Not kill an Amorous, kill Hisuian Zoroark. I mean, Liquidation was a roll on Hisuian Zoroark while Wave Crash just killed. I think it was the same for Sandy Shocks. I think Wave Crash just killed Sandy Shocks and Liquidation was a roll. And then Wave Crash also 2-hit KO'd Slowking, I think, depending on the Slowking build, if he was like defensive or not. But I don't know, I thought this set was really cool. It's a shame I didn't get to use it, especially since Wave Crash under Rain was still a monster to deal with for his team. He did have the Baby Doll Eyes tech though, so I don't know how well the Terra Blast Grass set would have worked this time. But I don't know, I feel like this set would have worked pretty well. Though I still have more ideas for what Floatzel could have done this match, besides from this set. And then finally we have Pelipper as a Scarfer. This thing just looked really good as a Scarfer, if I'm being honest. Like, max special attack, he didn't have great switch-ins to Surf plus Hurricane. Ice Beam helped me deal with Altaria. The thing is, Altaria really couldn't deal with Pelipper that well anyways. Especially if he ran like super defensive with like Defog, Will-O-Wisp, Roost, U-turn, you know. Like if he ran the utility set that I knew he was going to bring, if he did decide to bring Altaria, I could just threaten it with Ice Beam. Not only that, but this thing outsped and killed Sandy Shocks, which was really cool. It threatened big damage on stuff like an Amorous. Originally I had Weather Ball just for like a little bit more damage, but overall I felt like Surf consistency was more important. And yeah, just being able to have a Scarper that outspeeds stuff like an Amorous and Hisuian Zoroark can just straight up revenge kill them is really, really nice. Maybe, like, in hindsight, a defensive build maybe would have been better if he did bring something like Gambit. But at the same time, I felt like I had stuff to deal with Gambit. Like the Substitute Floatzel, like the Tapu Koko, like the Sneasler. So I wasn't too worried about it. And yeah, I guess that's just like the small recap I wanted to do here. Again, it's not the most entertaining, but it's not supposed to be. I just wanted this to be a little more informative and go a little bit more into detail about my thought process when it comes into these fights. How I think, how I build. And since this is a content league, I might as well, you know. Like, sometimes I don't like sharing this type of stuff because I'm super competitive, and so my brain is always just like, no, I don't want to give my competitors any kind of advantage against me. But like, I'm starting to get a little bit tired of winning, which I know sounds like very like egotistical of me, but like, dude, you don't understand. I haven't dropped a regularly seasoned game in a draft league in so long. I think I'm like at 46 games right now since I last dropped a regular season game, which is fucking absurd. I don't know how I got this good. Maybe I'm not good. Maybe I'm not gonna say that. That's so mean. But yeah, it's weird. So Again, and again, this is also just like a leak for content, so you know I might as well, you know. I don't want to be like that guy who just ultra tryhards every week, because that's lame. That's fucking lame. But yeah, I hope this video was interesting. I hope this video was ever so slightly informative. You know, if you're struggling with draft leagues, like you just don't know how to like properly build, I hope that these videos help show you like the way I build my teams. And so even though every single person has like a different playstyle, you can at least look at my prep and be like, oh, so this is how you should prep. Like for example, a lot of the times with these speed tiers, you don't need max speed. You just need enough speed to outspeed their fastest Pokemon. Maybe speed creep is choice scarper. I don't know, something like that. Make sure to do specific calcs to make sure that your attacks are doing what you intend them to do, because you can put a super effective move on your Pokemon, but if it's not getting the KO or if it's not doing the damage you want, what's the point of even having it to begin with, you know? But yeah, I that's gonna be it for me. I'm probably gonna go into a coma and die now. Thank you for the support on the recent vids. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, whatever time you're living in. And last but not least, make sure to check out Fox, and make sure to check out Shadowace. They're both uploading content for the TCL currently, which is pretty cool. I know someone else is also making TCL content. I think it's Ty, but I have not faced him yet. But I'll make sure to give that man his flowers when I do decide to face him. But I also link his shit in the description below. So yeah, if any from the TCL has made it this far, and you're planning on making like TCL content, I'm down to do whatever, brother. I'm down to make content with anybody here. Like Fox said he was willing to do like player interviews. I'm so fucking down for that. Anyways, that's enough rambling for me. This has been Flygon. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, whatever time you're living in. Just make sure to take care of yourself, and I'll see you later.